Fish sticks and electrical snakes serve distinct purposes in electrical work. Fish sticks, typically longer and more flexible, are designed for running wires through walls and ceilings, navigating tight spaces with ease. Electrical snakes, shorter and stiffer, excel at pulling wires through conduit, providing the necessary force and rigidity. In the context of old electrical work, a combination of both tools may be necessary. Fish sticks facilitate the initial wire routing through walls and ceilings, while snakes then assist in pulling the wires through any existing conduit. When selecting between fish sticks and snakes, consider the specific task at hand. For navigating confined spaces within walls, fish sticks are the preferred choice. Conversely, for pulling wires through conduit, snakes offer superior performance. If uncertainty arises regarding the appropriate tool for a particular situation, consulting with a qualified electrician is always recommended. Their expertise can ensure the correct tool selection and safe execution of the electrical work. The proper and safe installation of electrical wiring is paramount. Always adhere to local electrical codes and safety regulations. When running wires, avoid sharp bends or kinks that could damage the insulation. Secure wires properly to prevent them from becoming loose or creating hazards. When pulling wires through conduit, use a lubricant specifically designed for electrical applications to reduce friction and prevent damage to the wire insulation. Ensure that all electrical connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause overheating and potentially lead to electrical fires. When working with electricity, always prioritize safety. De-energize the circuit before commencing any work. Use insulated tools to prevent electrical shock. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to ensure your safety. When working with fish sticks, be mindful of hidden objects within the walls. Avoid forcing the fish stick, as it could potentially damage existing wiring or plumbing. If you encounter an obstruction, try a different route or consider using a different tool. When pulling wires with a snake, apply steady and even pressure. Avoid jerking or yanking on the wire, as this could damage the insulation or break the wire. If the wire becomes stuck, try lubricating it or using a different pulling technique. Always double-check your work to ensure that all connections are secure and that the wiring is properly installed. A thorough inspection can help identify any potential problems and prevent future issues. Remember, electricity is a powerful force that should be treated with respect. By following proper safety procedures and using the right tools, you can safely and effectively complete electrical work. One of the key differences between fish sticks and snakes lies in their construction and materials. Fish sticks are often made from fiberglass or plastic, providing flexibility and non-conductivity. Snakes, on the other hand, may be made from steel or other metals, offering strength and rigidity for pulling wires. The choice of material depends on the specific application and the environment in which the tool will be used. In damp or wet locations, non-conductive fish sticks are preferable to minimize the risk of electrical shock. When working with heavy gauge wires or long conduit runs, a steel snake may be necessary to provide sufficient pulling force. Another important consideration is the diameter of the wire being run or pulled. For smaller gauge wires, a thin and flexible fish stick or snake may be sufficient. However, for larger gauge wires, a thicker and more robust tool is required to prevent damage to the wire insulation. When selecting a fish stick or snake, choose a tool that is appropriately sized for the wire being used. The length of the run is also a factor to consider. For short runs, a shorter fish stick or snake may be adequate. However, for longer runs, a longer tool is necessary to reach the desired destination. When working in confined spaces, a shorter and more maneuverable tool is often preferred. When planning an electrical project, take the time to assess the specific requirements and choose the right tools for the job. Using the wrong tools can lead to frustration, wasted time, and potentially dangerous situations. Remember to always prioritize safety and consult with a qualified electrician if you have any doubts or questions. The proper use of fish sticks and snakes can greatly simplify electrical work, allowing you to run and pull wires efficiently and safely. However, it is important to understand the limitations of each tool and to use them appropriately. Fish sticks are not designed for heavy pulling, and snakes are not ideal for navigating tight spaces. By combining the strengths of both tools, you can overcome many of the challenges associated with electrical wiring. When working with old wiring, it is important to exercise extra caution. Old wiring may be brittle or damaged, and it is more susceptible to insulation failure. Avoid putting excessive strain on old wires, and be careful not to damage them during the wiring process. If you encounter any signs of damage or deterioration, it is best to replace the wiring completely. Replacing old wiring can improve safety and reliability, and it can also help to prevent electrical fires. When working with electrical boxes, be sure to use the correct size and type of box for the application. The electrical boxes provide a safe and secure enclosure for electrical connections, and they also help to protect the wiring from damage. When installing electrical boxes, follow the manufacturer's instructions and ensure that all connections are properly tightened. When working with circuit breakers, be sure to use the correct size breaker for the circuit. Circuit breakers protect electrical circuits from overloads and short circuits, and they are essential for preventing electrical fires. When replacing a circuit breaker, be sure to use a breaker of the same type and amperage rating as the original breaker. Never use a breaker with a higher amperage rating, as this could overload the circuit and create a fire hazard. When working with ground wires, be sure to connect them properly. Ground wires provide a path for electricity to flow back to the source in the event of a fault, and they are essential for preventing electrical shock. When connecting ground wires, use a wire connector that is specifically designed for grounding applications. Ensure that all ground connections are tight and secure. When working with electrical tape, be sure to use a high-quality tape that is designed for electrical applications. Electrical tape is used to insulate electrical connections and to protect them from moisture and corrosion. When wrapping electrical tape, overlap the tape by at least 50% to ensure a secure and watertight seal. When working with wire strippers, be sure to use the correct size stripper for the wire gauge. Wire strippers are used to remove the insulation from electrical wires without damaging the conductor. When stripping wires, be careful not to nick or cut the conductor, as this could weaken the wire and create a potential failure point. When working with voltage testers, be sure to use a tester that is rated for the voltage of the circuit being tested. Voltage testers are used to verify that a circuit is energized before commencing any work. When using a voltage tester, follow the manufacturer's instructions and always double-check the reading to ensure accuracy. Remember, electrical work can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to ensure your safety. If you are not comfortable performing electrical work yourself, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Their expertise can ensure that the work is done safely and correctly. Furthermore, consider the environmental conditions when selecting and using fish sticks and snakes. In corrosive environments, such as those with high humidity or exposure to chemicals, choose tools made from corrosion-resistant materials. Stainless steel snakes and fiberglass fish sticks are good options for these environments. Additionally, consider the presence of electromagnetic interference. In areas with strong electromagnetic fields, such as near power lines or electrical equipment, choose non-conductive fish sticks to avoid the risk of induced currents. When working in confined spaces, consider using a flexible shaft snake. These snakes have a flexible shaft that allows them to bend and maneuver around obstacles, making them ideal for navigating tight corners and hard-to-reach areas. Before using any fish stick or snake, inspect it carefully for any signs of damage or wear. Check for cracks, breaks, or frayed edges. If you find any damage, do not use the tool. Damaged tools can be dangerous and can lead to injury. After using a fish stick or snake, clean it thoroughly to remove any dirt, debris, or lubricant. This will help to keep the tool in good condition and prolong its lifespan. Store fish sticks and snakes in a dry place, away from extreme temperatures and humidity. This will help to prevent corrosion and damage. When transporting fish sticks and snakes, protect them from damage by using a carrying case or wrapping them in protective material. In addition to fish sticks and snakes, there are a variety of other tools that can be helpful for electrical work, such as wire pullers, cable ties, and voltage detectors. Wire pullers are used to pull wires through long conduit runs. Cable ties are used to bundle and secure wires. Voltage detectors are used to detect the presence of voltage in the circuit. By using the right tools for the job, you can make electrical work easier, safer, and more efficient. Remember to always follow local electrical codes and safety regulations. Electrical codes are designed to protect people and property from electrical hazards. By following these codes, you can help to ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. If you are not sure about any aspect of electrical work, consult with a qualified electrician. Their expertise can help you to avoid mistakes and ensure that your electrical work is done safely and correctly. Electrical safety is paramount. Always turn off the power at the breaker before working on any electrical circuit. Use insulated tools to protect yourself from electrical shock. Wear safety glasses to protect your eyes from flying debris. Work in a well-lit area to avoid making mistakes. If you are working on a ladder, make sure it is stable and secure. Never work alone on electrical projects. Have someone nearby who can assist you in case of an emergency. By following these safety precautions, you can help to prevent electrical accidents and injuries. Furthermore, familiarize yourself with the National Electrical Code, or NEC. The NEC provides comprehensive guidelines for safe electrical installations. It covers topics such as wiring methods, grounding, overcurrent protection, and equipment installation. The NEC is updated every 3 years, so it is important to stay up to date with the latest requirements. Understanding the NEC can help you to ensure that your electrical work is safe and compliant. In addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes that you need to follow. These codes may be more stringent than the NEC, so it is important to check with your local authorities to determine the specific requirements in your area. Compliance with local electrical codes is essential for ensuring the safety and legality of your electrical work. Always obtain the necessary permits before starting any electrical work. Permits are required for most electrical projects, and they help to ensure that the work is done safely and according to code. To obtain a permit, you will need to submit a plan of your electrical work to the local authorities. The plan will be reviewed to ensure that it meets all applicable codes and regulations. Once the plan is approved, you will be issued a permit. After the electrical work is completed, it will be inspected by a qualified inspector. The inspector will verify that the work was done according to the approved plan and that it meets all applicable codes and regulations. If the work passes inspection, you will be issued a certificate of occupancy. This certificate is required before you can occupy the building.